Alright, so for this video, we are going to draw pie charts. And just like bar charts and Pareto charts, or bar graphs and Pareto charts, pie charts are for categorical data. The other thing that you should know about pie charts is, unlike bar graphs where I can use the frequency or the relative frequency, pie charts always use relative frequency or percentage. And then each category is represented as a wedge of that pie. In order to do this, I need to take that relative frequency, which in our last example was the last column, the population or proportion of population, and I need to turn it into a degree measure because I know that circles have 360 degrees. And in order to plot the slice so that it accurately represents the percentage I want it to, I need to take 19% and figure out what 19% of 360 degrees is. So in order to graph, to get the degree measures, what we are going to do is we are going to take the relative frequency and we are going to divide it by 100 to turn it into a decimal, and then we're going to multiply it by 360 degrees. Once we've done that, we can start building our slices of pie. So let's go ahead and do this together. So I'm going to do this in a slightly different color off to the side here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of these, I'm going to divide them by 100 and then multiply them by 360. So this is going to be 19 over 100 times 360. 43 over 100 times 360. All the way down, 38 over 100 times 360. We'll go ahead, we'll grab our calculator. I'm lazy, I'm gonna have my calculator do them all at once. So in this first column, I'm gonna enter those proportions, 19, 43, 38, because I'm doing the same formula on all of them. So for this second list, notice I'm up in the header, I'm going to enter a formula. So in parentheses, I want to take the numbers in list 1 and divide them by 100. And then I want to take that answer and multiply it by 360. And notice it automatically calculates for me. And I get 68.4 degrees, 154.8 degrees, and 136.8 degrees. And then we go ahead and we draw our circle to represent our pie. Yay. There we go. All right, so my center of my circle is right here. So that's the center. And in order to sketch these wedges, the very first thing I do is I draw a line from the center to the top of the circle. that's the place I'm going to start measuring my angles. And much like Pareto charts, it's standard in pie charts to plot the biggest angle first. So just like our Pareto chart, I'm going to do the work age adults first, and then the retirees, and then the children last. So I need to measure out an angle of 154.8. And somewhere in here, I have a ruler that has an angle measure on it. But it doesn't, I don't think, measure, does it? Let's see. I'm going to scooch it this way. Yeah, I was afraid of that. It does 90. I might have to do some mental math because I don't have a protractor here. Let's go back to our pen. Put that away. Mr. J's going to do some thinking, so I know that's 90 degrees. If this is 0, top is 0, that's 90 degrees. 180, 270, 360. And then half of that's 45. And then 135. Whoops. Get that nice in the middle there. That's about 135. I want 154, which is going to be about halfway between. Oh, nope, don't want to do that. Hold on. No, go away, go away. We're having technical fun here. Hold on a second. I want my pointer again. There we go. So I know that this is 180, this is 90, that's 135. 158 should be between 180 and 135, so it's about here. I'm going to have to kind of guess. So I know that my first point is going to be here. So that's my first wedge. My next wedge gets measured from that new line I drew. So what I need is, starting at this line, I need to go 136.8 around this way. So I know straight across would put me at 180. I'm gonna guess we're right about here if I had to take a stab at it. Come on, pen. I think that's our second wedge, and then this last wedge should be our 68.4. You will notice, as it stands, not terribly helpful. So what you will typically see is these will be, let me make my pen a little bigger, these will be shaded in, much neater than I'm doing here because iPad drawing is hard for me. Using different colors to differentiate them, and then they'll be labeled either in the diagram itself or with an external key. Because my picture is rather large, I can do the labeling in the picture. So that first section, the biggest, was our work age adults. And I know that my work age adults were 43% of the population. And I notice I'm writing the percentage and not the degree measure. The next section was retirees. And retirees were 38%. And then the last was children. And children were 19%. And I'm checking to make sure that that looks approximately appropriate. I'm not going to get out like a protractor and double check your drawing. What I do see is that this wedge here looks like it's a little bit less than a quarter, and 19 is a little bit less than 25%, so that is spot on. 43 is a little bit less than 50% of the circle, and 38 is just a little bit smaller than the 43. So visually, that looks like it matches. On your test for this week, I will not ask you to draw this. This is very difficult to construct, but I think it's good practice for you to see where they're coming from. Pie graphs are always plotting percentage, and then we're taking that percentage and we're converting it to a degree by multiplying that percentage by 360. All right, if you have any questions on pie charts, feel free to send me an email. Otherwise, I will see you in our next video.